A fatal shooting has occurred in Fort Worth, and in this video, I want to explain to you why I believe that officer was flat out wrong.
I got you. Yeah, I will defend my brothers. I will defend the weak. I will pursue and fight evil so others may sleep. I am the sheepdog, protecting the night. Wolf hunters unite. Bring it on. It's time to fight.
Hey guys, Mike the cop, and an innocent female, Atatiana Johnson, age 28, has lost her life. My heart goes out to the family. My condolences. An innocent woman has needlessly been taken, and there's no way around that from what I can see. And so I just want to say that up front. And if anybody in her family, in her community sees this, my heart does extend out to you, and I'm so sorry for what happened. And as the nation watched this Amber Geiger situation, trial, sentencing unfold, this certainly does not help. It's a secondary concern. The primary is the loss of life. The secondary is that, my goodness, wow, what a great time to try to explain that this is not common when it's in the forefront of the media. It's very difficult to overcome false perceptions when that's what's out in front of us. But what I'm going to do, and this happened today at the time of this recording, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the stage for the call. I'm going to show the body cam footage as it's been released by Fort Worth Police Department to let you see it for yourself. So a heads up that if that's something that's going to make you feel uncomfortable, please don't watch it. And then I'm going to break down why, in very simple terms, why I believe this was a fatal error in judgment on the part of that officer that fired that shot. All right, so the context of this is ultimately a welfare check. A neighbor called at about 2:25 in the morning, essentially saying that there was a light on in the house, the door was open, but that the people who lived there, their cars were there. So he was concerned that there was something wrong. He felt, as their neighbor who apparently pays attention, that this was abnormal. And so the police responded. First unit on the scene at 2:28, second unit on the scene at 2:29, and they're investigating essentially a potential crime in the context of a welfare check. This is the body cam video.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Now, my take on this. First of all, let me be very clear. I don't make a video like this for the purpose of throwing anyone under the bus. I don't. I'm doing this for the purpose of educating you guys who may not be aware of how these situations unfold or what's common and what's not. I do it for the purpose of keeping it legitimate, keeping my content and myself legitimate with my integrity in terms of covering major stories that hit the news. I can't cover them all. I won't cover them all. I'm incapable of that. But in this case, this drew my attention, and that's what matters in the sense of my content is what hits me so that I can communicate it to you, and that's why I'm doing this. And another reason maybe for someone who's going to become a cop, or who are young cops, or who are cops that need to be reminded of the right way we should be doing our jobs. I will also be clear up front before I give this little take on this, is that this is my opinion. I believe it to be an informed opinion. But if I am incorrect in any of the details of this, as that unfolds in the investigation, I am happy to walk that back and correct myself or be corrected. When these officers approach the house, we see there's relative silence between the two. There's a few whispers. It's pretty indistinguishable to me, so I don't even know exactly what they said or what plan they put together. It would be very, very common for one officer to go to one part of the house, another officer to be in another part of the house, front and back typically, so that if someone should run out the back, there's someone there. If they run out the front, someone's there. We're gonna hear other things, and if we need more units, we call them. But the first thing that should have been done, that I was trained to do, that I have trained officers to do, and that I would bet that Fort Worth officers are taught to do, would be, outside of some other extenuating circumstance that I'm unaware of, announce themselves at the house. Open the front door, or even knock on the door and announce yourself. Be safe about it. Absolutely, I get it. Senses are heightened. Maybe something's going on. But we don't see any sign on that front door. Now, I couldn't see it. I didn't see any sign of forced entry. Like sometimes you would go to a potential burglary call or a potential crime, a breaking and entering, a home invasion, and you would see obvious signs of a door being kicked in. You might see blood on the floor. You might see something else that was indicative of a crime that had taken place and builds confirmation on your suspicions. But absent of that, we start with what's simple, which is announcing ourselves, knocking on the door, open it up, say, hello, Fort Worth Police Department. Is anyone home? And then allow a Atatiana Johnson or other people in the home to come out and say, yeah, I'm home. I belong here. Even if they're not the homeowner, do they have the right to be there? Can they be there? And then just communicate that with the officers who are responding. Because what are we trying to figure out? We're trying to check on the welfare. We're not trying to go in assuming that there's a problem. We're trying to check it. We're trying to confirm one way or the other. And we have to react to with the information that we get. Whatever plan they formulated did not involve that critical first step from which every other domino fell in the wrong direction. Because as that light shone in the window and a fatal shot was fired, now they do show that there was a gun in the room. What the story is behind that, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, that person had every single right, because no one was announced. If they didn't know the cops were called, then why in the world wouldn't I get my gun and have it in my hand if I saw people with lights and whispering outside of my house? I absolutely would. I would 100% be armed in that case if I was aware of that going on outside my house. You shine the light, you see someone in there, you don't know who it is. You don't know who it is. And because you didn't take the critical first step, every other assumption that was being filled in your mind led to that fatal decision, that error. It's a really basic thing. It's a really basic take, that because that first problem wasn't solved, the rest occurred, in my opinion. And now I don't say this because I believe that officer went to that house hoping, even a little bit, to take someone's life. I don't believe that. I don't believe that it was racially motivated. I don't believe there's any initial evidence of that. I don't believe that there was any intent to do that. But what I do see is someone who made a fatal error in judgment and either was not trained appropriately or failed to live up to the training and shouldn't have been engaging in that line of work because they were refusing to fall in line with an appropriate course of action. That's my take, because I think it's important to recognize where we make the mistakes so that we can correct them. As a whole, I believe with all of my heart, because of my life and my experience and my work, that officers are out there wanting to protect the welfare of people in their community. And in this case, that went sideways because of that critical mistake that led down that path. That's my take. You guys can share yours in the comments, that's fine. but make sure it's informed. Just speak out of an educated mind. And I just wanted to share that with you guys tonight before it escaped my mind, before the week got going and I got too busy to make a video on this. So there it is, and appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.